All that matters is how they feel about themselves when they're by themselves. That's it. Please only chase that.
Yeah.
Now, when you're chasing that at a grand scale, it's amazing because you're like, whoa, here, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to see if you agree with this. So here's my whole thesis on life. So first of all, chase fulfillment. It's the only thing that's stable across joy and pain.
Yeah, process.
Yep. And then the best thing that life has to offer you, the fucking best. There is no emotional peak higher than the following. You're working really hard at something and it's working.
Yeah.
And if you pull this off, there's huge upside.
Yeah.
That moment, it's better than the actual huge upside.
Yeah.
Like the moments in my life where I'm like climbing this perilous cliff.
Yeah.
I'm fucking looking down, my fingers are just ice cold, right? And I'm just clinging, but I'm like, fuck, I'm making good progress. Like I've really come a long way. I can see the peak, it's not that far. And if I get up there, there's like a crazy Vegas buffet and an orgy. And it's like, oh my God, if I fucking get there, this is gonna be the best.
Yeah.
It's actually better than the buffet and the orgy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that moment where you're like, your fingers are freezing, but you're gonna make it. Like, that's the fucking juice. And so, hey, enjoy the food, enjoy the orgy. They're incredible. But I promise, as soon as they're over, you're gonna be like, where's that next thing that I can get my fucking fingers freezing to death again? It just is. That's the human condition. Yeah. And when people understand the game, when you understand that I can never take a drink so thirst quenching that I'll never need another drink again. There's no meal so amazing that you'll never be hungry again. There's no sex so good that you'll never want sex again. That's just the way the human animal is wired. Like when people are at peace with that, like then now you've really got a shot at loving your life, understanding the cycles, and that you're gonna keep doing the climb, and so you better love the climb.
I love that moment before the moment. I was thinking, as you were saying, I was thinking back to like the few of those moments that I've had, like the first time, you start running ads and like you start getting your first lead, you're like, holy shit, it's working. Yeah. Like it's that, that moment. Or the first, I remember when I hired my first salesperson and they closed the sale and I wasn't there. So it was the first person that had made me money who wasn't me.
Yep.
And I was like, I pulled over the side of the road and I teared up because I was like, it doesn't have to just be me anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so like I was just thinking about all these moments that I've had. I remember when Layla and I were sitting over the kitchen counter and we had just switched from flying out a sales team in person to do these turnarounds to switching to licensing. And I got on the phone to tell the guys who I was going to launch the next month that we weren't going to do that anymore. We're thinking about switching directions. And so I said, hey, you know what? I can't do it, but I'll tell you how I do it, but I'm not flying out there anymore. And they were like, oh, that's fine. How much? And I didn't want to do it, so I picked a super high number, and then, which was $6,000 at the time. And the guy said yes, and I was like, and I remember the moment being like, holy shit, what just happened? And I had 7 more calls a day, and like that day I made like $60,000. Crazy. And I had just been, like the story I was telling, let's go full circle. Like I'd just been completely broken. Like in that moment, like Gym Launch hadn't been created yet. There wasn't, all these other things. But in that moment, I was like, what if this keeps happening? Like, are we out of it? Did we finally, is this the one thing that's finally gonna get me out of like failure after failure after failure after failure? And so it's just like, what is the event that gives you the biggest predictor of the future success? So like there's micro wins of like, hey, the funnel's working, I've got leads. And then you have like a day of huge sales. You're like, what if this happened every day? And then maybe you exit Quest and you're like, what if I exit 5 more times? You know what I mean? Like, so anyways, that was really cool for me just even thinking through like those snapshots of moments.
Yeah, it's very incredible. And you start to learn like, okay, what is it that I really love?
Yeah.
And so for me, when we were at Quest, and selling it, and it was huge, and it changes your life, and I mean, it was really banana. And here's going back to money. So Quest ended up being 2 bites of the apple. There was like a first bite where we took a small investment, but the valuation was so big, it was life-changing. Yeah. That was the biggest like, oh my God moment. Because I went from, my wife and I share one car, it's a beat up Ford Focus with a leaky exhaust, borrowing rides off my employees who had nicer cars than me, delaying gratification and all of that. going from that to I now have a Beverly Hills mansion, that was the crazy moment. When I went from my starter mansion to my big mansion, that wasn't as cool.
No.
It wasn't as neat of a moment. Even though it was actually a bigger dollar amount change, it wasn't as like, whoa, I really feel this change. And then thankfully I learned actually when I was still not really making money. On paper I was worth $2 million. But I learned very quickly, A, the money's not making me feel better about myself, which I secretly thought it would. And then also there's a big difference between paper money and real money. But I learned that lesson. So I never tied my sense of self-worth to the money or anything like that, which is something I constantly remind myself now, not to let my identity get tied up in that, because the world reflects that back to me all the time, right? So whether it's, oh, you sold a company for $1 billion, or amazing house, or even just, oh my God, like what you've built socially, it's incredible. It's like, I have to really disconnect from that, because I'm like, all of that is transient. It's all transient. I have no idea if any of it will be here tomorrow. So it's like, you have to be really thoughtful. What is it you think about yourself when you're by yourself? What do you think about that? Like now you've been on both sides of the coin. You've changed your physique, which is a big thing, but you changed it so early that I wonder, how do you think about yourself? What's your self-image? What's it anchored to?
I think anyone's ever asked me. I don't know. I think it's unless I'm misunderstanding the question. But for me, I think a lot of my definitions have been defined by my actions, and so I am the person who has done these things, and I will do things that will get me closer to the things that I want to achieve. And so a lot of my definition of self has always been based on evidence. And so I think it was harder for me in the beginning because I didn't have evidence to support what I hoped to be true about myself, which at the time wasn't.